Here is where I would usually make a terrible pun about the unit of the day, but I think we can just avoid it for now.
I had expected so much more.
The Void Ray is the Protoss surgical strike aircraft, specializing in an anti-armor role. They can be warped in from the Stargate at a cost of 250, 150, and a build time of 43 seconds. The basic stats: 100 shields, 150 life, and 0 base armor. Their super awesome laser beam attack deals 6 damage, or 10 versus armored targets, every 0.36 seconds. Yeah, lightning quick. Before I talk about usage, though, a few special points to bring up. First is their prismatic alignment ability. When this ability is used, all currently selected Void Rays will charge up their beams, gaining an additional 6 damage versus armored targets for 14.3 seconds. Again, let me repeat that. This ability increases the damage versus armored targets only. Stop using this when you're fighting Hydralisks. You know who you are. While this ability is active, the Void Ray's movement speed is reduced by 25%, but you can cancel the ability early should you decide you not need it for the full 14 seconds. Secondly, the Void Ray's attack range is listed as 6. That is not entirely accurate, because the Void Ray can chase units with its beam still active up to range 8. This will only work though if you let the Void Ray chase its target on its own. Any commands you issue seem to break this mysterious 8 range tether. Finally, there is an upgrade available at the Fleet Beacon for Void Rays. Flux Veins cost 100 and will increase both the base movement speed and acceleration. The movement speed changes from 3.85 to 4.65. Excellent for scouting, harassment, or running away from angry Archons. Now for usage. Long gone are the days that these guys should be built in mass. It's common to see Void Rays used in 2 settings, either as an opener or later as a specifically anti-armor force. Against Zerg, it's common to see a few early on to snipe overlords or defend a quick third base. Versus the other races though, in an opener they would usually take a more aggressive role. Go ask a Terran how they feel about the proxy Stargate plus shield battery all in. They can work incredibly well as an anti-armor force in the mid or late game. Target fire down those priority armored units such as Corruptors, Battle Cruisers, Brood Lords, Immortals, etc.
Annihilation commencing.
Void Rays are a funny unit in terms of the meta. At lower levels, you can see extensive use and success even with mass Void Ray armies. But as soon as you move up a bit, they become much more of a niche unit, not too good in large groups. Let's recap their strengths. They're fast flying, single target damage, anti-armor specialists. Generally speaking, counterplay options include ideas like overwhelming them, or using light forces if applicable, or calling in your own splash damage options to try and decimate the Void Ray flock. You will need to pay attention to when they charge up with prismatic alignment. If your forces are armored, back up, or focus fire them down ASAP. If you don't have armored forces, however, then you can punish them while they have their reduced movement speed. Terrans, it is a bit rare to see Void Rays in the current meta. Marines are going to be your standard bread and butter answer. The Void Rays simply can't compete once you have stim and shields. I want to bring up that Void Ray shield battery rush I mentioned earlier. This usually happens so early in the game that you don't have the means to mass produce Marines yet. In this situation, as with many early game threats, your answer is the Cyclone. Build your factory in a safe spot and start cranking out Cyclones. Get the mag field accelerator upgrade from the tech lab to boost their anti-armor damage, and then it just becomes a battle of micro.
You got coordinates or what? Nothing'll stop me. In gear. Need something loaded up? Cyclone receiving. I getcha.
Protoss, seeing Void Rays is a bit more common in PvP since a large group of them can counter Stalkers relatively well. If it's still early in the game though, Stalkers may prove capable. Combine with Blink offensively or shield batteries defensively to help them pull through. Once the Void Ray count gets high enough though, Stalkers just won't cut it. Here the best option tends to be Archons. Yes, the Voids may outrun the Archons, but that's the only way they're going to survive. In a direct engagement, the Archons are simply too strong, especially if the Void Rays group up.
What guidance?
As a final note, 2 potential options here, more like honorable mentions: High Templar and Phoenix. High Templar, through the use of Psystorm, will decimate Void Rays that stay clumped up. It takes 4 total storms to actually kill them, but even just 1 or 2 in the right moment can turn the tide of a fight. The Phoenix only get a mention here because they are not tagged as armored units and can technically outrange the Void Rays with their anion pulse crystals upgrade, but the fight is liable to be a micro mess. I don't usually recommend it. Zerg lovers, the sight of a Void Ray is incredibly common as an opener to deny Overlord scouting. If it happens that the Protoss is committing to Void Rays, here are some options. Obviously, Queens are your fantastic go-to choice for base defense, or a strong timing that has creep support, i.e. Nidus or Lair Tech Overlords. Some easier to use options include Hydralisks and Mutalisks. Yeah, seriously, I'm recommending Hydralisks for something. Jokes aside, they're actually quite good when the enemy has no splash damage on the field. If they get Storm 2 though, that's another story. Mutalisks are fantastic versus Void Rays, since they're tagged as light and have their own splash damage attack. Additionally, they'll heal up quickly when outside of combat. As with the Hydras though, you may have to be a bit careful around other threats that the Protoss may have, such as Archons or Phoenix. But if it's just Void Rays, mass up a group of mutas and enjoy the carnage. Finally, I want to bring up a spellcaster. If you're looking to really up your game, start weaving in some Vipers once you get Hive Tech. You don't need many, maybe just 3 if you're starting out. But get them up, use Consume on a couple of buildings, and then let loose a parasitic bomb as you engage the Void Rays. Watch them fall from the sky. Hopefully you now have an array of options to make that pesky Protoss fleet null and void. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.